I'm now gonna rate everything. So let's begin with the training area because we are above, so yeah, why not just rating the training area instantly. So we have hangboards, we have some sitting places right there, and for parties I think we have this balance seating, and we have some wings there and some other stuff there, which is really nice. So we also have a slab spray wall, which is also really nice. Here we have, you know, the boards where they can build some boulders too. We also have what looks like a tension board here, and we have a moon board right here, which is also really nice. Nice hang thing for if you're tired. And we have some climbing ropes, pull-up bars. Here we have some stuff for swinging and some other stuff for swinging, I guess. I think this is more for campusing, but alright. And we of course also have a campus ladder, which is also really nice. You have some 5 kilo weights and some 3 kilo weights and some 2 kilo weights and 1 kilo weights. And you have some dumbbells, but I think if there's a lot of people going to like do weighted pull-ups here, I think you're gonna run out of like weights. Also here there's not really that much like this kind of like weights, which is a little bit like disappointed. But you can do dips here, which is really nice. I think I'm going to rate the training area because there's also backboard here. I think like a 8, but it misses some like weights, which is like a little bit unfortunate. But because if they put more weights here, I think the training area would be basically like perfect because you basically have everything. And I also think that the campus board right here, like it's also like a little bit empty. I would have wanted more crimps like also here, like a crimp row here, so you could like also campus on like anything except jogs, because like right now you're basically like going to campus on jogs, but alright. It is quite dangerous because like I did this boulder right here, 35, and if you're like jumping down, you can or hit this, or you're gonna get into this thing right here, and you can basically like, you know, fall through here and maybe like break your ankle right here, which is like quite dangerous. Like I fell right here, and I like literally like fell through the mat here. I think they should resolve this, or at least like, you know, not put this boulder right here, because people are going to climb it, and if they fall or on this, or they will be just like breaking the ankle right here. For the rest, it's quite a safe gym. There's also like around the gym there's also like safety rules. So this gym is basically like really safe. But I think that's like a little bit of like a bummer, because I could have rated it a 10, but now I'm going to rate it a 8. But alright. So yeah, I'm now gonna rate the rest here at home. So yeah, let's begin with the route setting. What do I think about the route setting? I think the route setting is more focused on old school bouldering, which I think is really nice. And I think the way how they, you know, made the boulders in this gym were also really nice. You had these powerful boulders in the overhang, while you also had quite some technique also in the boulders, like heel hooks and toe hooks. But I think there really wasn't like a lot of technique. Like there were like some boulders that had like some technique, but it was quite easy to figure out a lot of the boulders. And for the rest, yeah, I think the route setting in the gym was really nice. Quimpy, not really super dynamic, but I think like the dyno/dynamic part of climbing is the most fun, you know, aspect of climbing right now at the moment, because I feel like if only the route setting is like crimpy and stuff, it could get a little bit like boring, you know. Well, of course this wasn't the case in this session. There was only like one dyno boulder really in the climbing gym, which I was kind of like disappointed about. But I think it's really nice to have a gym that's more focused on old school climbing. And I also definitely think that the outdoor replica boulder, or like the boulder that they used like the outdoor holds, was really nice. I'm going to rate the Bouldergym for its Routesetting, I think a solid like 7.5. I'm not gonna rate it a 10, but I definitely think that we will have to need more Bouldergyms like this, because I think we miss Bouldergyms like this that really focus on, you know, building more finger strength, building more power and making the climbers strong enough to, perform pretty good outdoors, because I think that this gym does that really, really well. So yeah, there was some reviews about the cleanness. Yeah, what I'm gonna say is that it's false. I think the gym was quite clean. The boulders felt quite clean too. Like, of course, there were like maybe like one or two black spots on some of the boulders. It definitely felt like they were quite clean, and they also looked like they were quite clean. Um, yeah, I would say that the cleanness in this gym is around like a 8. Of course, like there could be black spots on some of the boulders, because it still stays climbing. It still is climbing, and shoe rubber can you know get quite sticky, definitely like in hot environments. So yeah, because that was the case, it's going to get an 8 for me. So yeah, now that we are talking about environment, let's talk about the air quality slash ventilation slash air conditioning. Um, I'm going to put these three together, by the way, because it's, more easier to rate it this way. But what do I think? Well, there isn't really like any ventilation at all, and one of the Google reviews reactions from the gym also said that. Um, so yeah, that means that there really isn't any like proper ventilation slash like good air quality in the gym. Like there was also like a lot of like chalk just like flying around, and you could like really like see it. Like when I looked at one of the boulders, I could literally like see the particles like in my face. And yeah, it was quite hard to cool off. I sweated like a lot in the gym. um so yeah, and because you only can cool off if you just go outside, it really isn't that great, the air quality slash ventilation. So I have to rate it a pretty low score because of this. So I'm going to rate it a 2, because they still have some air, like some ventilation, I guess, from like the outside. But if it's like wind still, you are not going to have like anything that can really cool you off, except buying drinks, of course, which, yeah, it costs money. So yeah, is it really like cooling you off, or is it just like more like because there's like no proper ventilation in the gym that people have to buy a drink? Is it like kind of like a marketing technique? And why do they even like have the vents in the gym if they don't even like turn them on? Like, why? So yeah, talking more about the environment, let's talk about friendliness slash sociality. I think the people in this gym are really, really friendly, but I do have one problem with the gym, which is that there really aren't that much people in the gym. Like in the middle of the day, and also like more in the evening, there's maybe like 2 or 3 people, and it's just like really like there aren't really super much people climbing in the gym. But when I climbed, there were like a lot of friendly people. I had a session with a few, and I also talked with a few, and they were really like open there with like talking, and talking about what they do as like a job, and how they train, and also giving advice for me, what could be pretty good for my climbing. um, and I think that's really, really nice. And I think like this one of the most social climbing gyms I've been to. I think just as social as Monk Eindhoven. And yeah, I really don't have anything bad to say about it. So I think I'm going to rate it a 10 for friendliness slash sociality. I think this gym is really, really nice. Also, the staff itself also, um, as how you are doing, and if you're doing all right. And I think that's also really, really nice, because like the staff definitely like cares about the people climbing there, and also wants the people that are climbing there, um, to have a good time. So yeah, I think I'm going to rate this definitely like a 10. I have never had the staff member literally like asking how it's going and if my session is going alright and stuff. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to rate this a 10. So yeah, now we're gonna go over the last two reviews. So yeah, the first review is by Jakub Saremba. He's talking here about his order, that it was taking too long. Well, I ordered a drink here after my climbing session because I forgot my water bottle. And when I ordered my drink, it was basically like done in 2 minutes. Like it was really really fast. Like um, I think even faster than like a fast food restaurant. But alright. So yeah, I think I have to say that this is false. Maybe he just had a lot of bad luck and there were just like a lot of people just like buying some stuff in the restaurant. But I didn't had any problems with the order that I had in this climbing gym or restaurant. So yeah, I'm not gonna remove any points for this review. So yeah, our last Google review is by BoDG. Boulders were average to somewhat fun and quite worn down. It might be the case that everything is dirty after the summer holidays. No new routes, but this was an uncomfortable kind of worn. Due to the heat, climbing became unbearable, which shortened the climbing session. I asked if they could open more windows, but they were non-available. They did have air conditioning, but it was turned off. A smaller detail, which is kind of unhygienic, is the pools of water around the sinks upstairs and in the restrooms. So yeah, I have to say that the water in the sinks upstairs and in the restrooms were hygienic, not unhygienic, and I didn't saw anything that was like wrong with it. And yeah, I would not remove any points for that like thing in this review, but there are some things true in the review. One of the things is definitely like the heat. It's definitely like it definitely shortens your like time climbing in the gym, so you will really have to bring a bottle with like water to the gym because otherwise it's gonna be a really short session. Even though I am quite heat resistant when it comes to climbing, I definitely sweated quite a lot in the session, so I will be removing 1 point because that's true. And yeah, the boulders were, well, I think quite average indeed. Like I think only like the dino boulder and like the green boulder were kind of nice, but yeah, I think it was quite average. Definitely when you compare it with like a boulder gym like based where they said like a lot more dinos, this gym definitely like tries to play it more safe and just like go for the outdoor kind of like bouldering, which is okay, but I think it's a little bit basic. I'm more of like a new style bouldering person. Even though I also really like climbing outdoors, I will have to remove 2 points. So the total score of this gym is a 6.9. I think this gym is really, really nice. It's definitely like underrated. There's not a lot of people climbing in this gym, and I definitely think that this is quite a good gym. And I think definitely like there needs to be a lot more people climbing in this gym. Even though a lot of people right now at the moment in these few years are more focused on like dynamic climbing, I think it's also good to go to like gyms like this one where you have like more of like a outdoor climbing style. I definitely do think that they have to do something about the ventilation though. But for the rest, it's a really nice gym and it feels quite welcoming. But would I recommend it? I think I would recommend it for people that climb like 7B as a project level. But I did kind of feel like that when I climbed here one session, like today, I felt quite bored, to say it this way. I felt like I really, I was quite fastly done with everything in the gym, which is, I basically like am right now seventh in the ranking of the gym, and there were basically like two 7Bs, and like there's like a 7A plus in like the overhang, which I didn't do because it was really not that great to film that boulder. But yeah, basically I could have probably done that one, and then there were basically like only 3 boulders left. So I think for everyone that's like, climbs 7B consistently, I think this is not really a gym to, climb more than one session in. But I definitely think it's a good gym to visit sometime, like time to time. But alright, I think this is it for today's rating. I don't know what the next rating video will be, but yeah, I will see you guys then. Later.